Hey, listen, I am such an independent spirit that I don't want nobody telling me nothing about how to live my life. So I will not tell you what to do. I don't go around telling people how to live their lives, but here's what I will tell you. You need to make your own way. A lot of you, especially since the pandemic, have found yourself in what you consider very lonely spaces where you are spending so much time by yourself. And if you, like many people, had TikTok and was able to expand as a result of needing to lock down and be by yourself and having to challenge your positions on things, that was really a beautiful space, because now you're trying to reintegrate into the life that you came out of, and you're finding that to be difficult. And I'm telling you that it is never to go backwards. It is always to go forwards. So it is to lean into your next best, your next expansion. You came here to learn and grow. Don't you dare try to go back and reintegrate into some stuff that served you then because you didn't know any better. But now it is about looking at the challenges at hand and daring to expand who you are, your perceptions, so that you can move into this next best, your next best. You came here with a particular path of purpose. We know that because you think, feel, and respond to life differently than anybody else. And it's time for you in this space of expansion, when everything seems to be falling apart, to get to the place that you find some solid ground in your own mind so that you can expand in the ways that you need to expand to do what your life has called upon you. So it's time to make your own way. You know the way. You know the truth for you. You know better than you think you know. And that's what I'm talking to you about today. Not just what you need to do, but why you need to do it. All right? Life will not get any easier. It's just waiting on you to tap into who you truly are in order to catapult you into your next best expanded self. Ready for that? That's what I'm talking to you about today. Stay with me. Hi, my name is Zara Green. This is either a welcome or a welcome back. Here's what I want every person to know. You've got to make your own way, because in our society, we have all been conditioned that there are particular ways to do things. Through social conditioning of any category, it doesn't matter where you place it. I've got a lot of different videos on the different social constructs that we have been programmed with. And I'm telling you, all programming is to the benefit and advantage and profits of somebody else. And until you start following the money, you won't understand that. You will think that things are your ideas, when the reality is they are not. So what have they done? They have, through social constructs, established these different gurus who are going to tell you, based on their expertise, listen to me, education, especially in the United States, and other countries have just followed them, is indoctrination, not education. It is indoctrination. We are all smart. We are all able to learn. There are things that are going to be easier for one that's not going to be so easy for the next one. So you've got to become your own expert. You've got to stop looking to the supposed gurus. Gurus learn what they learn for themselves. And listen, I'm going to take it even further than that. Especially today, there were some people who were writing books years ago because they did develop what was then an expertise, and because our world was developing in the ways that it was, and education was becoming what it became, then we accepted that there were experts in different fields. But again, I tell you today in 2024, we're going to allow the plane. I don't believe in gurus. I don't believe that there is anybody who knows you better than you and who knows what's best for you better than you. When you tap into your own self, your own source, there is only one source. I don't care what you call it. There are, in different realms, we call it different things. Religion, it's God. There is a supreme being. In spirituality, it's energy. It just depends on where you are, what you're tapped into, what you're going to call it. But I'm telling you, your expansion depends on you tapping into what you know to be your truth that is for your expansion, for your betterment. Okay? So you didn't come here knowing all things, but when you tap into your source, you know what is right for you, what is best for you. I don't believe in gurus. In fact, in 2024, I believe that gurus are opposed opposition. They have been placed by the powers that be that will guide you in the ways that they need you to believe. Still, social constructs. And because so much is collapsing around our world and so many people are awakening to truths, then opposed opposition will sound like truth because much of what they say is truth. But then they put enough of, say 70 to 80% of what they say is truth. That 20% is dangerous because that 20% is really going to make things so much more complicated for you to actually do and to grasp. Okay? It's what I personally believe about Christianity and how it was established in our Western world. I believe that there is 80% of what is in that book is truth, but the way it was arranged and the way that they have set up the gurus and the people you go to who are the middlemen and the ways that they tell you that you have to get to your source, that 20% is dangerous. Now, some of you might be saying, Zara, you're an author. You've been writing books. You've been telling people what to do. Well, that depends on what parts of what you've read that I've written. Because listen, a lot of why you haven't heard from me so much is because so much of who I am is evolving so quickly. And so much of this stuff I am snipping away as what I believe. That I am only coming to you when I really have something that is going to expand you. And I'm telling you right now that until you get on the path of knowing that people might be able to help in your expansion by redirecting you back to self, if they are telling you what to do, I never tell people what to do. I only look at whatever their perception is about a thing and whatever is creating the pain and the suffering in their challenges to be able to expand their perception so that they can then breathe in order to lean into whatever their next best is, whatever their next truth is, whatever their next decisions they come to are. Anybody who's telling you what to do in your life cannot. Which leads me to how we've been conditioned to believe that we need other people's opinions on how we are to live. A lot of you, especially since the pandemic, have found yourself in what you consider very lonely spaces where you are spending so much time by yourself. And if you, like many people, had TikTok and was able to expand as a result of needing to lock down and be by yourself and having to challenge your positions on things, that was really a beautiful space because now you're trying to reintegrate into the life that you came out of and you're finding that to be difficult. And I'm telling you that it is never to go backwards. It is always to go forwards. So it is to lean into your next best, your next expansion. You came here to learn and grow. Don't you dare try to go back and reintegrate into some stuff that served you then because you didn't know any better. But now it is about looking at the challenges at hand and daring to expand who you are, your perceptions, so that you can move into this next best, your next best. Life All of life is about expansion. Every single time you are challenged with anything, feeling any kind of pain, especially if you're living in any suffering, it is simply life, that energetic force that you are, asking you to expand. To expand what? To expand your consciousness. Now let's talk consciousness. What is it? While I'm all about definitions, let me read it to you. Consciousness is the state of being aware of and responsive to one's surroundings. Let's dig deeper. It is a person's awareness or perception of something. So your consciousness becomes your nature. Now, when we look at nature, let me dig even deeper on that, because we always talking about being conscious of things or a level of consciousness. Well, consciousness originates from somewhere. There is an origin of consciousness. What is its nature? Now we have to define nature. The phenomena of the physical world collectively, plants, animals, and features of the earth. Dig a little deeper. It is the basic or inherent features of the earth. Now, when we look at people, it is the basic or inherent features, characteristics, character, or qualities of something. Human versus divine. So human consciousness is what we are conditioned and programmed with, okay? From the time you are born, you are programmed with how you are to think about, react to, respond to things around you. All the things around you. So human consciousness versus divine consciousness. I keep telling you, those are the only two levels of consciousness or identity that matters, where you have been conditioned and programmed to care about things that are divisive, and that has become part of your human identity. And I'm telling you that how you handle anything that shows up in your world has been because of your human programming, your human consciousness. And what you need to start to open yourself up to in terms of consciousness is divine consciousness. Because when you look at the nature of a problem, and all you've ever had was the conditioning and programming of our world through its social constructs that have not led you to be able to tap into your divine consciousness. And I am not talking any forms of religion or traditional spirituality right now. Let's take a situation. Let's take any problem right now, and I'm gonna keep this simple. So I had a situation here recently, somebody who loves me dearly, because I have cut off all ties. Somebody who loves me dearly heard folk talking about me who have not been in contact with me for years. Let me tell you something about what human nature does. When it does not have real information from a source, it fills in information. It makes shit up. So people are making shit up about me because they don't know what the truth is. And this person who loves me dearly is ready to go to bat for me. They are pissed off about it. They're look what they're doing, and they are not telling the truth, and da 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 da. In human consciousness, then what we have been programmed to do is to stand up for or defend people who we know better about. When you love somebody, you don't want them being spoken poorly of. I'm telling you that who I am, with everything I have, it is my absolute desire of in every single day and every single circumstance with any supposed problem that arises, to no longer handle it in the ways that I've been programmed and conditioned in my human consciousness. Because my human consciousness will never be able to resolve to my calm, satisfaction, and tranquility, will never be able to resolve a situation to where I am not able to be touched by it, to not be moved by it. So people, I've been conditioned to react to people, especially when they hold certain roles in your life, to react to how they feel or what they might be saying. In divine consciousness, then what that means is you have taken on the same energy, same mind of the absolute source. Absolute source is not moved at all by human consciousness. Absolute source gives grace to human consciousness. Absolute consciousness understands that surrender in all things is where the true power for peace lies, because your power is in your peace. The moment your peace is disturbed, your power is surrendered. You're either surrendering to human consciousness where pain and conflict and negativity and angst and all that stuff is, or you are surrendering to your divine consciousness that takes over and leads you away from even being affected by the human consciousness stuff. So I, in my divine consciousness, give grace to those who have not yet tapped into their ultimate power. My peace matters more than anything anybody wants to believe about me. In fact, surrendering is also to surrender to every person's choosing of their path of pain. You want to sit in the pain of creating stories because you have nothing else, then I give you that. My response to that is out of love. I am giving them that space to do whatever it is they want to do. Leave those people alone, and you rise above that. We can either stay in the density of crap and trying to rectify problems in this human stuff, or we can rise. And when people rise with us, they don't bring those problems with them. I am not living in these human problem consciousness crap. Human consciousness are full of problems. You've heard that you cannot create solutions at the same levels the problems were created. Well, human consciousness is full of problems. When you reach a divine state, then you are literally transforming your mind to not even give energy to the shit that was created in human consciousness. That was the only way I could find the peace, was to surrender to the pain that all of that created in order to transform my mind in a way that I was able to just release it all, tap into who I truly am. That's returning to self. That's returning to the divine. That is returning to who you were, what you were, the level of energetic neutrality that you were before you took on this human consciousness. So I spend my days snipping away at this human shit so that I can operate in divine consciousness. I'm telling you, as your own guru, in your own expansion, then the only way out of the pain that you find yourself in, the pain and the suffering, is to expand based on who you are. You came in with certain ways of processing information. You came in with certain things that are indeed you, and the only person who knows what your next best is you. And I'm telling you, there are two tracks you're gonna have to operate on while you're doing that. You have been programmed with the human consciousness, and it's time for you to tap into your divine consciousness so that you can be rising up out of that human consciousness while you're working on the divine consciousness. And the more you do this, I call it zooming out. You can zoom out from the problems of the world, operating in your divine consciousness, making decisions here that absolutely causes this to dissolve. And while everybody else is over here operating in these painful places, in this human consciousness, with this crazy world that is further being complicated, you can see a hell of a lot clearer. That's why it's about living clarity for me. The clarity comes when you're up here, okay? When you expand, then your perceptions can change. You can become like the liquid, fluid that energy is. You are energy. You are not this human crap. It's a meat suit. You use this meat suit as your energetic force is creating the life that you desire. All right? I believe that life is to be enjoyed. It only happens as you expand. For many, many years, I taught human development. I taught human consciousness. I taught you how, gave you tools to be able to operate better in this human form. I'm telling you, life, when you want to take some real leaps, then you move to your divine consciousness. And operating in this human form becomes so much easier. It actually becomes fun. That's what I desire for you. I have a lot of videos for you to dig into your divine consciousness, and I strongly urge you to go and do that. It may be the first time you're hearing anything about it, but I'm telling you, in the world that we are living in, what the reasons that things are as they are is because the people who established our social constructs understood what I am telling you, and they're using it against you. But the moment you get to operating in this, nobody and nothing can stop you, okay? Divine consciousness, baby. Expand into your divine consciousness, because there are no two people who are alike. That means there is no other person who is what you are. Your combination of who you are, how you think, how you feel, all of your experiences, all of that has led you to where you are right now. And I'm telling you, the way to make the leap from where you are to divine consciousness, so that you are not affected in the ways that you are currently, and you are able to rise above the density of all of the crap that's going on right now. I'm showing you the way. All right? You ready for that?
It was a story that would be told to a young boy or girl that would ask the question, what do I do when I'm lost in the forest? Well, but this is an equally true question for a middle manager in an organization, in a large organization, or for a street kid in Philadelphia. What do I do when I'm lost in the city? What do I do when I'm lost in the organization? Here's the answer that the elder gives. You can feel from this how precise the teaching is. So the elder says, stand still. The trees ahead and bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger, must ask permission to know it and be known. Listen. The forest breathes. It whispers, I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again, saying, here. No two trees are the same to raven. No two branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or a branch does is lost on you, then you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. The forest knows where you are. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. There are three things in this poem, you see, that are absolutely clear. First of all, the elder says, you cannot sleepwalk your way into your destiny. You must wake up and pay attention. Stand still. The trees ahead and bushes beside you are not lost. You must pay attention. That means paying attention to the shadows of your existence too. You must pay attention to everything you've given away in order to make yourself safe. All the games you play in order to remain safe and untouched, as well as your creative gifts too. Second stage is that in this teaching from the elder is this incredible feeling of silence. That unless you have this silence in your life, and you feel the silence in the poem, where he says, if you leave it, you may come back again, saying, here. No two trees are the same to raven. No two branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or a branch does is lost on you, then you are surely lost. You feel the silence there? You're almost under that cedar canopy there. And I think what the elder is saying there is that if you pay real attention, unless you have silence, an ability for silence in your body to do that, then you will get too frightened, because all the voices inside you will drown out any real change. You have 100 reasons not to make any real change, you see. And you've got all the voices and all the reasons not to do it. And so the ability for profound silence is being called on here. And then that attention can flower into something else. Because you really don't know what your grief is. You really don't know what's underneath that grief until you fall into it.
The poem seems to be attempting to awaken a kind of intuitive sense.
That's right. And then this amazing last line, the forest knows where you are. You must let it find you.
Well, that's all I have for you today. It's your life. Choose it just as it is. Own it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Change it. As long as you can breathe and learn, oh, it can get better. from somewhere out here in South America. Ciao for now.